anniversary CARICOM meeting. I mean, listen, we could not miss that for the world. And she's getting, from what we understand, a one-on-one with Marco Rubio. That and so much more inside today's Morning Brew. See you soon. We're going to check in. Yet again, good Tuesday morning. Today, Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2026. Jason Williams, JW signing on. Lots to unpack, and I have a perspective, an interesting one concerning the Chief Secretary's presence there in St. Kitts and Nevis for the 50th CARICOM meeting. I'll get to that soon. Let's head across to the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And while we do that, I want to wish you and yours a productive day, a safe day, a day filled with whatever the particular plan is. We're talking about a day filled with fulfillment. Let's see what's happening via our news cycle. Our Prime Minister gets a one-on-one with Marco Rubio, PM to hold bilateral security talks with U.S. Secretary of State ahead of CARICOM's session tomorrow. So that milestone meeting, 50th, very important. I guess Marco Rubio understands the strategic importance of Caribbean nations, of course the U.S. being the dominant force here, not only in the West, but I would safely say good part of the globe. They have their influence in all four corners, and you see the Prime Minister there making her way to St. Kitts, leaving Piarco, all smiles, and she's there getting a chance to, for the first time since a couple of words and the unease, I would say, with other regional leaders, getting a chance to have that face-to-face with CARICOM leaders, and more so with Marco Rubio. And of course, certainly the position on Cuba will come up. I understand there's going to be more talks on security. We all know the position the Prime Minister took, and it's one where it was almost a solo position, considering some of our CARICOM neighbors had a whole different perspective. But again, our location, strategic location that is, you wonder if, you know, I would never say the Prime Minister's hands would have been tied, but clearly in her, I guess, on whatever advice and strategy she would have had at the point in time, she made her particular decision, and I guess based on that, you're seeing that one-on-one. Now, what benefits will come to Trinidad from all of these meetings? Only time will tell, but we will stay on top of all developments coming out of St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, as it pertains to the Chief Secretary being part of the contingent, and it's one when we open the lines later, I'd love for TNT to elaborate on it. Now, personally, I know many, it's a kind of circular debate at this point in time, but I'm thinking in terms of Tobago. Yes, I know central government dictates foreign policy, and we have seen over many years where the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, whoever is in the seat at the point in time, will go and be that voice, will be that particular spokesperson for both islands. But I didn't really see the issue per se. I think if Tobago needs to be part of the conversation, Tobago needs to be involved in a bigger way. Why not? And looking back at it now, I think opportunities would have been lost in the past with previous prime ministers who could have offered the same kind of olive branch, offered the same kind of courtesy. My only issue really is the timing of the Chief Secretary's departure, considering the Seabridge issue and the many complaints coming out of the sister isle with those in business and just residents, and this whole situation here with the Blue Wave, even though I'm seeing via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning that Jolene John insists she's the Minister of Works and Transport, well, Works and Infrastructure, and she insists there's no port backlog. But I'm thinking staying home and minding your business might have been the best option at this point in time, but honestly, I see no issue with the invitation. And again, that's even if it's done for the optics, it's a master stroke by the Prime Minister to just rub it into the face of those who would have been in the seat before, to reaffirm that relationship and to show that, listen, Tobago, I'm on your side. I'm giving you this invitation to come along. Even if it's a papi show, I would never know. We would never know how these things go. But in terms of the actual optics and the political master stroke, what a move. And, you know, clearly it was an opportunity that could have been presented in the past, but it didn't happen. So that's my perspective. I'm looking at this, you know, kind of removing myself and watching it from a holistic point of view. If you share a different opinion, by all means, I would love to hear from you this morning when we open the lines on the particular issue with Farley being there in St. Kitts and Nevis. Will he get to talk? Will he be in the meetings? I have no idea, but he's there. He's there. Let's look at the development with Tutor. They're still waiting on the salary increase. I'm seeing that the Tutor president, Crystal Ashu, I have to say is very hands-on. The man is on the ground, he is moving, he's making waves, and he's showing up with his executive and really pushing for the teachers to get their due. And I think teachers should be given a special consideration. I hold teachers in the highest regard, you know. Now, whether teachers go into the job, we don't know. We don't know what somebody's personal ethos is when they go into a particular profession. But you see, teachers, we need to treat with our teachers with the utmost respect, and also our nurses. That's why Eddie Stewart is going to come in this morning to tell us what's the latest with the nurses who he represents. Let's head to the back page on this Tuesday morning. And I'm watching where the West Indies, perfect so far in the T20 World Cup, all and sundry getting licks. Now, I hope that we keep this momentum. I mean, we've beaten teams like Zimbabwe. Them is BT, right? Them is a shilling team, right? No disrespect to anyone from Zimbabwe watching the program, but, you know, when you look at basically legacy and caliber and class, I mean, we're supposed to beat Zimbabwe, but again, in sports, whether it's cricket, football, regardless of the discipline, in this year time, it really depends on who shows up on the day. And on a given day, Zimbabwe could do the same thing to us, but the reality is we've been doing well so far. And I hope that the same momentum and the winning attitude and that grit and that fight is there in the players, is oozing through their DNA when we bounce up the real big teams in this tournament, the likes of India and Australia, New Zealand, the top dogs. And we would have done well in this tournament in the past. So there is that pedigree, there is that muscle memory. And I sincerely hope that the men in maroon could bring another title to the region. We keep our fingers and toes crossed. Let's head to the brief on this Tuesday morning. See what's happening. Well, dust in the place, dust in your face. Remember when Dave Rivera did that song back in the day and Exodus play it and win in the 90s? Dust in the face, the dust, yes. Look at this, look now, let me tell you, is the Sahara dust a recent phenomenon, or is it was happening all the time, and because I was small, I guess I didn't take it on, I wasn't aware, because this is ridiculous, you know. The visibility yesterday was, I mean, low, blankets of dust, blanket the whole city. And from what I understand from Jamak, he says it's going to kind of continue for parts of the week. So anybody with respiratory issues, asthma, you know, it's problems. People's throat, nose, all your eyes get impacted by the dust. And as terrible as this is, we still have to give thanks because our brothers and sisters, our family on the east coast of the United States, well, they're going through the worst. They dealt with a blizzard yesterday, and now it's the big task of clearing all that snow. Inches, snow like that. So we will treat with the weather later on. Jamak will give us the latest. And I'm seeing here where the mayor reassures public that the Point Fortin Borough Day is on. That's the kind of carnival after carnival. So, you know, I mean, come on. To not have Borough would be a sad, sad indictment on the Point Fortin area. So, with that being said, let's get ready. We take the pause and we come back with Edie Stewart, who's going to treat with the issues concerning the salary increase, the update with our nurses, and if there's going to be any protest action. president of the TTNNA. Edie Stewart joins me next.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off, let me see you rock off.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
The man who represents the interests of the nurses here in Trinidad and Tobago, Edie Stewart, he joins me, president of the TTNNA. Edie, let me say good morning to you, and I look forward to all the latest information. Lots of moving parts and the concerns regarding our nurses of paramount importance. Good morning to you, Edie. Welcome.
A pleasant morning to you and your listeners, JW. Thanks for having me.
President Stewart, I want to ask you, before we get into the salary increase and the update in that regard, been told by a source, and I want you if you could confirm or refute, that there's going to be a change of the operational model at the Point Fortin Hospital. They're moving from the hospital model to a more health center model. Could you confirm if that is indeed the truth?
Unfortunately, I'm not 100%. I tried to confirm it when I heard the similar reports yesterday. I was not able to confirm it as yet. It's not cast in stone. But what the association has always been saying, and it would be a testimony in the coming weeks, months, years, is that we really don't have the required number of healthcare practitioners, including nursing and midwifery personnel, to really operate a number of these facilities that we have built at great expense. So it will come as no surprise to me if a decision is made to scale down some of these institutions.
I mean, that would be a shame. That would be a shame because it looks like such a world-class facility. I know there's a maternity ward at that particular facility. So you mean to say that all that will now be on a back burner? And well, again, we can't confirm if that's the case, but if indeed they transition into a health center, that will be probably the most advanced health center we have seen in years.
Well, actually, the Roxborough Health Facility is already operated in that capacity. It was built at great fanfare, what have you, but it's really not operating at the levels that it is expected to operate at. So we already have a template. We already have Hoover multi-training facility, Children's Hospital. I'm not sure the name, they changed names so many times. That is already operating in that scaled down capacity, doing basic services, what have you. So it won't be the first, and I'm sure it won't be the last. We are a culture like to build stuff, whether or not we can afford it, whether or not we could properly staff it, has always been an issue. And in this case, it will continue to be an issue.
Well, Edie, thanks so much for the update. Speaking about update, what's the latest regarding the salaries?
Well, unfortunately, there's no update, despite the association writing formally to the Minister of Finance, to the Minister of Health, requesting, simple requests we're making, just to inform healthcare workers, not only nursing and midwifery personnel alone, but all regional health authority workers, inform us when we would receive some form of salary increase. And it's really disappointing that we would have, as a country, removed one government, install another government, thinking that better would be done, that better communication between those who we put to lead us and those who are being led, more communication would be had. Unfortunately, the Minister of Finance doesn't see it fit to inform regional health authority workers when they would receive an increase. So regional health authority workers continue to operate on 2013 salaries. And mind you, that increase that was received to operate on 2013 salaries came in 2015. So you have a situation where between 2015 and 2025 last year, that 10-year period, workers would have lost 47% of their buying power due to inflation, 47%. And we are operating in 2026 now on 2013 salaries. So even a larger gap has existed now. And there's complete silence from administration. The last information coming out of the Ministry of Finance and coming out from the Honorable Prime Minister was that, here what, the workers within the regional health authorities, they would receive a salary increase when their representative bodies, and they named Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association, ironically, when those organizations negotiate between the employer, which would be the CEOs of the RHAs, and they would receive an increase in that fashion. So the association engaged in negotiation only to be told by the authority, the CEO and management of the regional health authorities, that really and truly, we're not going to be negotiating for that period. We're going to be negotiating for some period beyond, which has not yet come. From 2025 on, that is when we will be allowed to negotiate for. So what is happening from 2013 to 2025? What is happening for that period? Are workers not going to achieve a salary increase for that period? The government, all we would want the government to be is transparent in what is taking place on behalf of regional health authority workers. And this morning, I'm not merely speaking on behalf of nursing and midwifery personnel, even though that is the category of staff that the Nursing Association is focused on, because we have been bombarded by our other colleagues from the other sectors within the Regional Health Authority, all of the doctors, all of the social workers, the attendants, the wards maids, all of these other monthly paid workers who are not represented by any majority trade union. And they have been bombarded us to speak on their behalf, because no one is speaking on their behalf currently.
President Stewart, let me ask, was there ever precedent set in the past where the association had to negotiate with the CEOs of these RHAs for any kind of salary adjustment? Is there any kind of track record in that regard?
Well, this will be the first time, because we would have achieved recognized majority union for portion, one of the bargaining units that nursing personnel represent. We still are waiting on to represent another formally, we are still waiting on recognized majority union status to represent the second bargaining unit. But unfortunately, again, the very government, via the Minister of Labour, have failed to institute the Registration, Recognition and Certification Board, the RRCB board, which gives you that legal authority to negotiate for the workers within any institution. They have failed. Unfortunately, the Minister of Labour, Honorable Leroy Matisse, has failed. Some persons saying it's deliberate. I'm not sure. I can't envision that it will be deliberate. But he has failed to institute the board at the RCB. Thus, there's no board, so no union in Trinidad and Tobago can achieve RMU at this point in time. So it's been closed off, it's been sealed off. No union in Trinidad and Tobago can achieve RMU status at this time.
Okay.
And thus legally represent workers. So we have one small group, and we can legally negotiate for that group. But prior to that, what always used to happen was some months after, the workers within the regional authority would receive the same salary increase that the public servants got. So that used to happen 2 to 3 months after. The last time it took 7 months and 7 months of demonstrations to actually be able to receive the salary increases that public servants got. So as it stands, those public servants, those RHA workers are expecting to receive that 10% salary increase that the public servants would have received. Right?
So I just want to go back really quick to the staffing issues. And again, we're hearing from sources that the plan is to take folks from maternity wards, the maternity staff, filter them into the health center scenario that's a bit short staff, and train new folks, new personnel, I guess all those nurses who are training as we speak, to bring them in, to filter them into the system. Does that at all help to alleviate some of the short staff issues? I guess, when we had our last discussion some weeks ago, I remember you would have mentioned that on a particular ward, the nurses are clearly outnumbered and the workload is extreme. And all this is happening in the light of, well, no salary increase. So what's the scenario as it pertains to staffing, and will there be any kind of particular action to press home your point?
Well, a couple of things there, JW. One, Trinidad and Tobago will not resolve the staffing issue. Nothing is being done as we speak to resolve the staffing issue within our nation hospital, particularly when it comes to nursing and midwifery personnel. Absolutely nothing is being done differently from before. Those persons who are currently being trained, they are just going to be filling the gaps that currently exist within our healthcare institutions, and specifically for those institutions that were already catered for. So the Port of Spain General Hospital, the San Fernando General Hospital, it would not translate into proper staffing of the new institutions like the Point Fortin Hospital, the Couva Hospital. We are way off from properly staffing those particular institutions, newly built institutions. We are way off. We are struggling as we speak, and we had to hold a demonstration at Eric Williams late last year, pointing out to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago how woefully understaffed that particular institution is. You are speaking about 1 to 2 nurses, seeing about 20, 30, 40 patients at a time. It's woefully understaffed. And we get constant reports, you see in the media, constant complaints from citizens about the ill effects of the shortage of staff that is taking place in institutions, particularly Eric Williams, but across Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the better institutions that are a little better staff are in Tobago and in the eastern region, but by and large in North Central, Northwest, in Southwest, woefully understaffed.
But what you're saying to me, it almost sounds like the health, especially at Eric Williams and these places you're making mention of, it almost sounds to me like it's on the verge of collapse. Because if there's a shortage in staff, the nurses are frustrated, they're not getting the increase, and they decide on any given day to withhold their service, what's going to happen to those patients and the folks who will need immediate attending to?
Yeah. Well, the good thing, the nursing and midwifery personnel will never really withhold our services. So you will never get a total collapse of the system, but you would definitely have a system where these institutions are operating way below international standard. We're below regional standards. We're below any standards. Unfortunately, we really don't have any standard in Trinidad and Tobago. That was one of the things we were lobbying the previous Minister of Health and the current Minister of Health, Dr. Lakram Bodo, to institute a patient-to-staff ratio. So I could have come and tell you, legally, the ERHA is operating below the required number of nurses to patients. However, it appears that even this current government, despite talking big prior, has no intention of instituting a patient-to-staff ratio because they don't want that ability for someone to say you are operating below standard. And that is why we actually gathered, JW, how much money, how much sums have been allocated to legal lawsuits going against these regional health authorities. And we have compiled that information. And JW is running into the millions. So we prefer to spend millions of dollars every year paying out compensated persons, allowing persons to go through the great sadness and unfortunate circumstance of losing your loved ones within our nation's hospital and just paying them off after it happens. We prefer them to go through that trauma than actually fix our system once and for all. It's just a continuous cycle that we are operating in. And I can tell you the association is no longer willing to go through this. We have demonstrated under the past government over the last 10 years, persons would have been accustomed to us holding a series.
And is there going to be any protest action going forward? Because I could hear the pain and the frustration in your voice. Clearly, we have been talking about this ED for quite a while, and it seems we're spinning top in mud. Is there going to be ultimately some sort of message, a strong message that's going to be sent? Because ultimately, overworked staff, frustrated staff will indeed produce poor quality of care. And we don't want that. We want a standard.
Overworked staff, underpaid staff, and under-resourced staff in terms of consumables. Persons not even realizing as we speak, we as the nursing and midwifery community have to be liaising with each other, almost as logistic managers. Hey, we don't have needles in this institution. Could you send down some needles for us? Hey, we don't have syringes. We don't have incopads. We don't have pampers. And we have to be liaising between each other to ensure patients are not unduly affected more than they currently are. So on the 6th of March, we'll be taken to San Fernando. We'll be beginning our demonstrations, nationwide demonstrations. Will be legal demonstrations. We have already applied to the Commissioner of Police for approval also to make sure everything is on board. 6th of March, we are heading to San Fernando. On the 27th of March, we are heading to Sandy Grande. And on the 10th of April, we plan to hit the streets in Port of Spain, from Port of Spain General Hospital to the Minister of Health office, and then down to the Ministry of Finance head office, pressing home our concerns, pressing home our voices. We cannot continue like this, and we must send a message to all and sundry that what you are doing, the deafening silence regarding salary negotiations, would no longer be tolerated. Deafening silence in terms of patient-to-staff ratio and our cries to ensure that we deliver quality care to our patients. It will not be allowed to continue. The government has been in office in excess of 10 months, and we would want them to begin acting accordingly.
President Stewart, I want to ask you lastly, and obviously I know that you must take action, and as you said, the protests will start early March then south. What do you want to say to the listening public right now, the viewing public, who might have any concerns about this said protest as it pertains to their loved ones who are now within the care of any one of our medical institutions?
Well, they can always rest assured. Nursing Association has always have been a professional association, and whatever we do, we would not impact negatively on the quality, further impact that is already is on the quality of care that our patients receive. All of these protests are during the lunchtime period, so it's just on our workers' lunch hour. And we expect them to come out in their numbers, and we're calling out all nursing and midwifery personnel, and we're calling out all regional health authority workers to come out to these lunchtime protests as we highlight the issues we face within the health sector. So the public can be rest assured there will be no disruption or minor disruptions taking place. The disruptions that are ongoing, which is impacting on your quality of care, it is due to administration. It's due to the politicians. It's not due to the workers. The workers are just being impacted ourselves by these institutions. Yeah.
Edie, I want to thank you so much, as always, for touching base. Keep us posted. And if there are any new developments, if there's a moving of the needle in a positive direction, feel free to let us know. I'd love to get the latest.
We hope so. Thanks so much for having us.
President of the TTNNA, Edie Stewart, touching base, confirming that protest action will start in San Fernando on March 6th, I believe. I took some notes. They will move to the city, basically inside the lunch hour. And he says he gives the assurance it will not impact those who got their loved ones right now in any one of the medical institutions. So we'll keep our eyes on that growing development. Up next, we head across to Tobago. Dr. Denise Soifat Angus to treat with the Tobago Seabridge concerns and Tobago autonomy. I'd love to get a perspective on the Chief Secretary across the ensign kits for the 50th CARICOM meeting. See you soon.
Mom, Dad, this is Trevor.
Hi. He's no Kieran. Back up.
Swing? That's why he crossed the road.
It was funny when Kieran said it.
Oh, who could that be?
We're like the parents who don't miss your ex.
I can't believe Kieran is in the neighborhood.
CG United. Good like that.
When others surrender to the unhealthy, we rise. When they conform to the status quo, we defy.
We believe energy is earned, not given. We fearlessly defend our bodies from the inside out.
With every sip, we unleash our greatness. We boost, we nourish, we cleanse, we recharge.
We are rebels without a pause, because a supernatural life is one worth fighting for.
This town isn't as safe as it used to be. You remember that laundromat that burnt down? We offered protection, but they refused.
So you're telling me that if I pay you, you'll protect me from... Gentlemen, I think you've been watching too many cheap American soaps.
Westwood Park, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo, Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
We are now on the ramp of the Blue Wave. Now, why am I here this morning? And people actually my morning briefings setting the tone for the week. They come on the ramp of the Blue Wave on the 23rd of February 2026, real time, because I have found that the the conversation regarding cargo and the capacity for cargo, making that trip across the bridge in Tobago has really deteriorated. It has become coarse, it's become vulgar, and people feel they could say what they want about people, and that is totally unacceptable. I mean, in a democracy, yes, you could say what you want, but people could also say what they want about you. I'm not into that. I'm about the facts. We have to talk about facts. We can't be spreading this hysteria based on nothing, right? No member of the media has asked to come on the port and to say, this is the CEO of the port. If anybody should know, she should do. Madam CEO of the port, Mr. President of NITCO.
So we have no stored cargo for Tobago. We clear the yard with each operation and each sailing. So there's currently no backlog. So we have trucks that are waiting to load at this time.
No.
So we always love to really get to the bottom of a story and go through the layers. That was literally yesterday, the Minister of Works and Infrastructure and now acting Prime Minister Jerlyn John on the port, boots on the ground. Say what you may, all can confirm that indeed she is a lady who, from all accounts, hard worker, a go-getter, a action Jackson, as they say. But she's saying one thing and then we're hearing a different report out of Tobago. So I really want to find out what's truly the factual, I would imagine, chain of events. And to give some clarity this morning, Dr. Denise Soifat-Angus joins me because, I mean, obviously you reside in Tobago, you live there, you interact with the business interests. You would have seen the video for yourself just now that featured also on our 7 p.m. news last evening. And from all indication, it seems that the minister is suggesting, well, what's the big hullabaloo? You know, the CEO of the port said, it's no backlog here. What's going on? What's really what's the real breakdown there in Tobago? And of course, good morning to you, Dr. Denise Soifat-Angus. Welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And yes, the minister has shown that the storage may be empty now. The backlog has been cleared. But the main fact is that for the past 3 weeks, Tobagonians have been suffering with empty shelves and basically having to choose what they could even purchase because prices have gone up in the meantime, and you have that imbalance occurring once more. This is not new to us. We were promised that this wouldn't happen again, but it has happened. And so she may have cleared it up yesterday, and in fact, I actually went to the grocery last night, and I saw it better packed than a couple of days ago when I went there. And so we are hoping that this has resolved the issue, but we continue to hear that it's still on, the blue wave is still on sea trials.
So my question is, as you said, you would have experienced this in the past. This happened as recent as 3 weeks ago. What can be done going forward to ensure that Tobagonians, our brothers and sisters in Tobago, never got to go through this inconvenience again?
Well, 2 weeks ago, the IDA had a press conference where we gave some advice to the current THA. We said that this has happened during PNM times, it has happened during UNC TPP times. There must be something wrong with the system if we continue to have this happen. And one of the challenges we have is that Tobago is not included or seeming to be included in the frontline procurement process along with other stakeholders. Sometimes things are rushed. And also, more importantly, because you could have the boat here, but if you're not involved in the logistics and understanding the potential for failures in certain areas, we're not going to be able to address it in a timely manner. And because you have, if you have persons from Tobago involved in key parts of the logistics, they will understand what the impact would be and how long that shock, we would not be able to handle that shock for, and therefore will be more proactive about putting things in place to avert that. And so that is one of the areas we suggested, that apart from being involved in procurement, also being involved in the logistics, the operation, the design of what happens between the two islands, because we can't continue like this.
You think we should have a spare? You think there should be?
Fees law is a bit insensitive.
You think we should have a spare? There should be some alternative there ready to go in case the main boat shuts down? Because clearly they would have tried with the galleon and all these different boats, but it doesn't really have the capacity to move with all the set of, especially the building materials.
Correct. Of course, you should have alternatives, option Bs that are set up, and we need to look at all of the option Bs because prior to us having these large boats, our options were to actually use community vessels that would take up some of the slack, especially where the perishables were concerned. And those are areas that we can look at. How do we engage Tobagonians once again to become involved in the process? I understand there was a vessel from Charlottesville that would come down and go to Trinidad and bring things back and forth. So you must have some chain set up for an option B, so this does not happen again. And again, if you empower the people of Tobago, or if the people of Tobago see themselves empowered and we begin to take more responsibility, then that plan B will be set up properly in this space.
Interesting, and I want to pivot to a development concerning the CARICOM 50th meeting, milestone meeting as it were. We have seen where, I can't recall in recent history, the Chief Secretary being given an invitation to attend. Now, my position on it this morning, I saw it as a master stroke by the Prime Minister, even if it's for political optics and to say, well, Tobago is involved, because again, many Prime Ministers had the opportunity to do such in the past. I don't know if it was done. Again, you could always confirm or refute, but the reality is that looked upon in a favorable way by Tobago, seeing that your Chief Secretary is now part of that contingent. Whether he gets an audience, whether he gets to speak, we don't know, but clearly he's there, I would imagine, representing the interests of Tobago. He's involved. There's inclusion in the conversation.
Well, I don't think it's the first time you've had inclusion. I think previous prime ministers have invited chief secretaries to go off to energy conferences with them and different activities where they felt it was necessary or significant at the time. I think Tobagonians have mixed views about this current overture because inside of the pain that they're feeling with the boat situation that they felt has not been resolved sufficiently, people felt that, yes, it was a master stroke for distraction, distracting away from the issue of this whole failure of our inter-island transportation system. Barring that, it may be informational, and you want to ask yourself that St. Kitts and Nevis played a key role in the discussions at the Joint Select Committee of the last of 2020 before they brought forward the bill. And inside of those discussions, like I said, St. Kitts and Nevis played a great part. So it will be interesting to see what difference what different information they would learn now, because the opposition then sat as part of that joint select committee and rejected the bills. So it will be interesting to see what would be learned differently, such that they are now able to say, well, that is the model that we think we should adopt. I know one of their key areas of concerns would have been that federal system where St. Kitts and Nevis actually has the option of deciding one day whether they don't want to be part of that union anymore. And I know that the committee had key concerns with that piece inside of there. So it'd be interesting to see what new information they get. But if you go through that joint select committee minutes and the bill, you would see that St. Kitts Nevis played a significant role in the discussions throughout.
Also a Twin Island state indeed. So I guess, you know, lots of lessons to be learned from both Twin Island states. But I'm asking based on, obviously, the timing. I also, this morning, would have said I thought the timing was a bit odd. I thought the Chief Secretary should have opted to probably stay home and treat with the business of the Sea Bridge, but nonetheless, he's there. Do you think this precedent, yes, you said many energy conference and major happenings in the past, but this is CARICOM. This is where the leaders of the region go to speak and to trash out policy, to have a particular agenda going forward. Do you think this particular precedent, this invitation will be one that will be extended every year going forward? Do you think the Chief Secretary should be part of CARICOM's annual meeting?
Well, I do know that I believe that both St. Kitts and Nevis go. The representatives from heads from each area, they attend. So, of course, I think, though, going back to the autonomy issue, I think there's one thing that is a key component that all of them are missing, and I would hope that if the Chief Secretary is listening, it is something that they bring forward, and that is the fact of bringing communities officially into the governance model and giving communities their rights and responsibilities to begin taking care of themselves at the level of the communities. And I think when communities are given that, and also the push for them to be enterprise generating models, that you will then begin to see a better economic development coming out of these islands, that many of them are struggling. Some of them are doing much better. I think St. Kitts and Nevis. But where Tobago is concerned, I certainly think we can do much better by actually moving also to give powers to communities so they can generate income officially as arms of the Tobago House of Assembly.
But isn't that the role of the representatives, those who have been elected in the recent THA elections, the folks that represent the WIMS and the Space Side and the Canaan? Isn't that their role and responsibility to generate that kind of momentum and to empower people so that the community itself could strive? Isn't that really what someone is elected to do?
No, the representative does not have that, does not have the teeth to be able to do that. And you want to set up these community entities as companies to focus on generating income, to be business-minded. And a representative and the Tobago House of Assembly cannot do that. They've showed where they've failed in every way when they try to set up and get involved in business. They just don't have the wherewithal to do it. I think they need to give up on that notion, and they need to give it to the persons who can do that, which is at the level of the communities. If you have 40 communities across Tobago looking and seeing how can they monetize their assets in their communities, I think you can certainly see how we can grow much faster than having a Tobago House of Assembly trying to decide on which one should we put monies in, which one should we do this in, and then picking and choosing who they want to be in the communities doing that. And I think when you do, when you have those powers in the communities, you will have less of the complaints of people feeling they're not involved, people feeling they don't have a voice, people actually, and we'll see a better maybe education system, a better decrease in crime, because things are located at the community level and they're driven from that level.
Let me ask you,
employment would be much better.
Let me ask you really fast in the minute that remains. I've been told that the Scarborough Carnival, at least the carnival in the capital, was poorly attended. No one was there, only really in the communities. You had a little Juve, Roxborough here and there. Do you think it's time now for Tobago to focus on solely the October carnival product and just let the February or March product, let it, just forget about that and focus on October? About a minute.
Absolutely not. I think the Tobago House of Assembly has to have meaningful conversations with the stakeholders and also facilitated by experts in the area. Most of the experts, those economists, actually have been able to discuss the fact that both carnivals are untapped to a great deal. And so I don't think the Tobago House of Assembly has been having the right conversations with the stakeholders in the field, and most particularly the mass stakeholders, because they're the ones seemingly left out of the October part of the carnival per se, and they need to work out how do all Tobagonians within this space feel as if they have benefit, whether it's from October, whether it's from October and February, or February alone. And I don't think those honest and credible conversations have been held to be able to have a seamless transition into whatever we say that we're going forward with. We cannot just sit down in an ivory tower and make decisions and just expect to kill off one carnival and try to promote another, because at the end of the day, when you look at how Scarborough was, there was no evidence that there was a carnival going on, no set of branding, no promotion that took place. So I think that the stakeholders were a bit confused. People were confused as to what really would be happening, because I think what people heard when the administration came out to speak was the fact that they will focus on the 3 juvies. So I think people got mixed signals, and they definitely have to sit down and have effective communication with everyone involved. And stakeholders also include vendors.
Yeah, well, Dr. Denise Soifarangas, I want to thank you as always. Great seeing you. Great conversation, and I look forward to any new developments. Feel free to touch base. We'll chat soon. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
We take the pause. Get ready for the 7 a.m. news update, and we come back with your calls. See you soon.
Introducing the new Sun Mix Nut Bar. Available in 3 delicious flavors: granola raisin nut, almond cranberry crunch, and coconut almond crisp. All packed on a rich bed of dark chocolate.
Taste the good life, snack right. Taste the good life anytime. Good life. Sun Mix.
Sunshine Snacks Sun Mix Nut Bar. Taste the good life.
Trinidad, the season of wins is here at Passat's The Food King and Bright Ideas. One season, many chances, big wins. From premium Leroy chocolates to Moet champagne and fine wine to booming sound systems, fully loaded coolers, and even 50-inch smart TVs. Here's how you can enter to win. For every $300 spent at Passat's The Food King or Bright Ideas, you receive 1 entry form, fill it out, and drop it in the entry box. We could weekly Carnival Cooler Line draws every Saturday and one massive grand finale. The season of wins ends on February 26th and the grand carnival draw on Saturday, February 28th. Shop, enter, and win in the season of wins.
Quality value, that's our way. The real Bushans, we're here to stay. The Food King Bushans.
Brunswick tuna. Perfect for snacking on a cracker. On its own. Snacking made easy. Snacking made healthy. Snacking made tasty.
What, boy? The game showing clean, dog.
Hey, it's fast internet and best entertainment I paying for, you know.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, my good, eh? Hey, the call not sticking. So why are you taking so long to reply to your messages?
Hey, I get Wi-Fi quite out here. Yeah, boy, that's ampler. But what are you doing outside? Come inside and lime now.
I'll come in there.
Wi-Fi so fast, you'll be saying,
Hey, it's ampler.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Men, are you tired and run down? Ladies, does heavy periods leave you tired and feeling down? Use Astafor, the only blood builder with the GHL advantage, an iron in the most easily absorbable form, clinically proven to rapidly and safely relieve the symptoms associated with iron deficiency. Astafor is safe for vegetarians and diabetics and is the only blood builder that will not cause constipation. Available at leading pharmacies.
A very good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. After months without a clear timeline for their new salaries, TUTA is now taking its fight directly to the finance minister's doorstep. Delivering a letter to Minister Devindranath Tanku yesterday, the union demanded clarity on when teachers will finally receive their long-awaited salary increases and back pay. TUTA President Crystal Ash told CNC3 News they were promised this money since mid-2025. This followed the 5% agreement TUTA signed, albeit with a different government, in April 2025. In January 2026, Cabinet confirmed that the monies will be paid but did not set a timeline. Ash said teachers are feeling despondent and in 7 days, they want Minister Tanku to clarify exactly when the improved salaries would hit their accounts.
NIS contributions would have gone up since January 1st and so on. So they're taking home less, and at the end of the day, and also our brothers and sisters in Tobago, the ferry service, because of the logistics and so on, we understand that prices would be increasing. So therefore, additional hardship would be faced by them in Tobago. We want dates. Don't blow smoke in our faces again anymore. You've been doing it for far too long.
Former Health Minister Terence Yal Singh is facing serious allegations of political interference following claims he pressured state procurement agency NIPDEC to favor a major pharmaceutical company for priority payment. During a Public Administration and Appropriations Committee session yesterday, chaired by Jagdev Singh, NIPDEC's general manager claimed between 2023 to 2025, he was instructed by Yal Singh to give preferential payment to Aventa, a pharmaceutical distribution and manufacturing arm of companies within the Agostini Group.
In terms of the payments that were made, the various
payment allocations, the priority payment allocations were dictated by the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Who from the Ministry of Health was the minister there?
Yes.
And the minister dictated the preferential terms of payment. The answer is yes or no?
Yes.
And 3 appeal court judges reserved judgment after Republic Bank Limited appealed a ruling that it must compensate a former employee who lost jewels and other valuables during a 2022 robbery at the Couva branch. The appeal was fast-tracked, with the judges promising their written ruling as soon as possible. First Gentleman Kerwin Garcia, leading the bank's team, which includes former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's daughter Tonya, argued Justice Carol Gobin was wrong to side with the employee. He said the break-in, though extraordinary, did not prove the bank failed in ordinary care, noting its multiple layers of security. But Kal Taklal Singh countered that thieves went undetected for 28 hours, covering cameras and using high-powered tools to bore into concrete and the vault, evidence, he said, of the bank's failure in due diligence. Well, those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. It's the second hour. Well, you know, I would have given my position when I started the program after 6 concerning the Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and his invitation and the acceptance of said invitation to be part of the 50th CARICOM meeting. I mean, it's not about being right or wrong. It's just being, you know, giving opinion, being honest about it. And here's where I would love to hear from you. I mean, obviously, is this going to be part of the new normal? I mean, why not? I mean, he is, in essence, the man in charge of Tobago. Now, granted, there is a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and we have seen time and time again where they are the ones that will go and speak on the grand stage, whether it's UN and CARICOM. But obviously, yeah, I mean, he's there. Will he get a chance to be part of the meetings? I mean, we'll find out. Obviously, we're looking at the Sea Bridge issue. I thought, as I said this morning too, that probably could have patted down and say, you know, let me stay home and treat with the business home at first, but he's there. Let's hear from Pleasantville. What's your take on that development, Pleasantville? I really want to hear from TNT on this one.
Yeah, morning, Jason.
Morning.
Yeah, Jason, before I start, let me kind of further clarify very quickly what I said yesterday, that there was some slight disagreement with the total policing issue.
Yes.
That I mentioned. What I really meant is not that the total policing issue should be as it was rolled out at that time. That the police should be always seen to be working at all times. Because, Jason, I'm saying this from the standpoint that I'm a former police officer, and I would want to see the police service function properly. So I'm in total agreement with what you said yesterday, because of that slight misunderstanding, but I need the police, because, you know, Jason, very quickly, you know, a police officer is a police officer 24/7. There's no such thing as a police officer ever being on leave. Some people I know sleep very comfortably in their bed knowing that a police officer is their neighbor or lives in the area.
Yeah.
So you can be called on at any time as a police officer in this country, whether you're on leave, vacation, whatever. Anything happening in your neighborhood, people comes to you. So I need police.
Yes,
so that's my take on that. Very quickly on Tobago, listen, I have this issue. Farley said that he is going to Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis for a particular issue to deal with the autonomy issue in Tobago, to kind of get a feedback on what's happening and the copying what's happening there in Nevis as it relates to what they intend doing in Tobago. And these 2 representatives from who are members of Parliament, who said that they are there only to see about Tobago issues in Parliament. They make no other contribution. Why wasn't they on that trip also? So I don't see a trip going to Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, so important to discuss this issue when we have many other issues to be dealing with, serious issues in Tobago and other issues that Ms. Sadbi Sessa has on her plate besides relating to the relationship with CARICOM and what's going to happen with Venezuela and Rubio for Farley to be there at this time. That's my take.
Thank you, Pleasantville. I appreciate a lot, and thanks for the clarity, because I thought he wanted the total lockdown, like what we saw like every day, but he's saying that basically, in a nutshell, he wants officers to work, and I agree. When an officer lives in the area, there is that sense of safety, that sense that you could call on them if there's something happening in the area. So spot on there, Pleasantville. Let's head to Tobago at the center of this major discussion this morning. Good morning, Tobago.
Yeah, Mr. Williams, morning.
Morning. What's your take, Tobago, on your Chief Secretary there in St. Kitts and Nevis? On the invitation was given by the Prime Minister, and they're there together to treat with this most important 50th CARICOM meeting.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think he should have stayed at home and dealt with the issues at hand in Tobago. But in addition to the Sea Bridge issue, there's another issue in Tobago that needs to be dealt with. Apparently, none of the police stations in Tobago has ink for their printers.
What?
So I've been trying more than a month now to get a police report for a vehicular accident I was involved in.
Nobody has ink, you're saying to me?
That's correct. I've been to the station 4 times, and they've told me that there's no ink in any of the printers in any of the 6 police stations in Tobago. So the next time I speak to the minister, ask him to probably part of the 100 million they're spending on body cams, they could send some to Tobago to get ink for the printers. This is ridiculous. This is 2026. I would have suggested, okay, email me the report so I could print it for myself. I was told they can't do that because it has to be stamped and signed. I said, okay, I will print it and bring it back to get it stamped and signed. That is against protocol. That is not how things are done. So in 2026, I can't get a police report because it has no printers, no ink for any of the printers in any of the 6 police stations in Tobago. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, thank you, caller, for that. And I believe with that kind of shine up, ink will be forthcoming. I'm in shock to hear this particular development. Unconfirmed reports, of course. I mean, that's, but caller seems very frustrated with that development. Santa Cruz, what's your take on the Chief Secretary there in St. Kitts and Nevis? Good morning, Santa Cruz.
Well, Augustine, going to CARICOM, I do not see his presence there making a difference with anything with respect to Tobago. Because remember, he had a track record of traveling all over the world, stating bringing tourists and bringing this, and nothing never happened. And what I believe the Prime Minister is doing to Perry Augustine is making sure that he remain under, they say, keep your friends close and your enemy closer. So what I believe she's doing to Perry Augustine is making him a kind of papi show in a way that he wouldn't understand that he's a papi show, because he really cannot speak in the heads of CARICOM conference because he's not a prime minister. And I believe Pleasantville have it correct that you have 2 members of the House of Representatives from Tobago who represent Tobago, and why it is one of them were not chosen to go to CARICOM as representative for Tobago. So I believe that Perry Augustine come like pushing boots, that he's totally out of place, and I think that the Prime Minister must stop papi showing Tobago by making people believe that, okay, look up for Tobago, Ake and Perry Augustine and things like that. And with respect to him going there, I believe that Perry Augustine said himself that they had a clean sweep in Tobago, so now he's showing his colors. He more there for like glamour rather than representing, because the issue in Tobago is that right now, if you go to Tobago, the people in Tobago is suffering tremendously, and Perry Augustine hasn't raised his voice on behalf of the people of Tobago, neither his members in the House of Representatives. That is my take on it. He had a right to stay home and make sure that things in Tobago is good, but right now he is not doing that. Thank you, Jason. This is Mr. Santa Cruz. Signing out.
All right, Santa Cruz, I hear you. But I think, well, I'll hold my perspective. Let me hear from Mova, and I'll give a little take on it before we head across to Karen Rose. Good morning, Mova.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Jason, I just want to make 2 points here. My first issue is last week, that CNC3 carried a little story about some people in the south area near to the Brian Lara facility that the Prime Minister stop parties from being
they say they missed the carnival vibe. The carnival was there. They had no party.
But Jason, to me, and you might find my position, unique, but to me, first of all, noise pollution is not an opinion, Jason. Noise pollution internationally is a problem. It is a health issue. It is a human rights issue. And for me, for CNC3 to be engaging and giving the opinion of people because of no parties being held in an area, is to me trivializing the stress, the health issue, right? The human rights issue of other people. And I find that was important because it seems to me, it's not the first time I'm saying that, I said it before and I'll say it again. It seems to me that CNC3, especially the affiliate, which is the Guardian, it continues to me to deal with this noise pollution issue in a biased manner. I've watched it. I myself have written letters to the Guardian, hasn't been published on the issue. And I have a friend who has done the same thing, not published. And it seems that media house continues to push a certain head. But I just want to repeat, noise pollution, if it is you all want to do give an opinion of people, I can give you areas to go on a Friday night or any night, right? And you all could go there and you all could see what people are dealing with on a regular basis. I think
what went on, Mova.
Friday night with the cameras. I will show you something.
Mova, I think what went on. Mova, I think what went on is that we went to probably get some feedback from the folks in Taruba. Remember, there was no carnival there. Well, there was no parties at the Brian Lara, and I guess the response took everyone by surprise because you're thinking that these are the same folks who complained about the loud music, and you're gone now after there was no event, and the people saying, well, listen, truth be told, we talk about the noise, but the place was dead. It had no vibe. It's sometimes I wonder, Mova, do we really know what we want?
Jason, let me tell you something.
Because we didn't tell people what to say, Mova. People, that was their response.
You see, is there any proof that one or two of those people who said it was boring were the same persons who were complaining? And that can be. Jason, listen to me. I am a person suffering with noise pollution issues for 30 years.
Yeah, I know you say about I know, I remember.
Right?
I remember.
Right. 30 years plus. I am a member of CANPAC. And I am telling you the information we have. This is nothing to be taken lightly.
All right.
And any media house should be rather careful how they report the issues of noise. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
you need to be very careful and don't assume that these are the persons who saying it was boring, but they are the same people who complain. It can be.
It can be. I hear you loud and clear.
Noise pollution is a real scourge. It's a real scourge.
Thank you, Mova.
And I would hope that the Guardian newspaper does a better job of reporting. That's my position.
No problem, Mova.
I think they should do a better job.
All the best, man. And I hear you loud and clear. And I think the entire team, we're definitely listening. And, we hear you loud and clear, Mova. Thank you so much. Tabakit, you have the final say this morning for the open forum. Good morning.
A pleasant morning to you, Jason.
Good morning, Tabakit.
Right. In regards to Tobago, this is my perspective. I see nothing wrong with the Chief Secretary accompanying the Prime Minister, the 5th CARICOM support. I am saying it's Trinidad and Tobago. If we're talking about diplomacy and international and bilateral, I think in such, he have a lot of secretaries there. They would be able to see about things. Anyhow you take it, leaders will leave the country and they would have people in charge. So in regards to Fali going there, I see nothing wrong with it. But if something would have raised its head in Tobago, what Donna Haddad said. And to me, that is what people should be discussing. When she said that Farley cotton picking mine, and you know long ago when people make mention of that, what they mean. Whenever you get Donna Haddad on a set, I would want you to ask her why she will refer to Farley as cotton picking. And to me, that is much more deadly. That is what people should be discussing. Why in 2026, a chamber president will refer to the THA about cotton picking mine? To me, if nothing else, that warrant talking about, because no one in 2026 should be using such slimy and hidden kind of, if you know what I mean, Jason.
That's not even hidden.
My attention.
That's not
nothing wrong with the chief secretary going there with the prime minister. I think it's timely. It's the 50th CARICOM anniversary, and yes, I am saying he can go. I see nothing wrong with it. Tabakita out and out.
Thank you, Tabakita. And that's not even hidden language no more. That is very derogatory, if indeed. I don't know how I missed that one. I missed that one, Tabakita, so I'll have to definitely go back into the archives and really soak in that particular statement. But if indeed that is what was said, very unfortunate in this 2026. And I'll have to ask some questions. But nonetheless, I stand with Mr. Tabaki this morning. I said it this morning that I see no issue with the Chief Secretary on this particular trip. He represents the voice of Tobago. I think it's important to have Tobago in the mix for these important coming together scenarios. However, I thought it would have been wise of him to probably stay home and treat with the issues when it comes to that sea bridge. But nonetheless, it is what it is. He's there, and I hope that there's some kind of positive impact with his visit and with that particular autonomy discussion as it pertains to St. Kitts and Nevis and their business model, and if it could be used for the Trinidad and Tobago business model. We take the pause, we get ready for the Digipreneur, Karen Rose. He joins us next. See you soon.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
PRWC, protect your loved ones with a Western Global Security Combo, only $3,000. PS5 console game, $5,400. Unwind with an 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. HP 14-inch laptop for $1,900. Amazon 8-inch Fire tablet, $760. HP print scan copy printer, $625. We have speakers, mouse, printers, and lots more. 3 months layaway also.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
digipreneurs here, have no fear. Before we get into Karen Rose, I got an update concerning the ink in Tobago at the police stations. The caller is now informed that he could head across to the Scarborough police station and ask for the Assistant Superintendent Alicia Piggott, and he'll be sorted out immediately. So that's how we operate here. In real time, we get solutions. We are solution oriented, and we try our very best to relay the information. So caller from Tobago, ask for Superintendent Piggott at the Scarborough police station, and you'll get that particular report sorted out. I think there's ink readily available there in Scarborough from what we understand. Let's head to Karen Rose, who joins us on the Zoom line. Karen, how you looking? How you look like you're slipping for carnival? I find you looking tan, you're looking bronze. Karen, you're looking bronze. You're playing bliss. You're slipping and slip back out what? Man, you're looking, talk to me, what's going on?
I'm looking toasty, eh?
You're looking very toasty. I don't know if it's lightened, but you're looking toasty.
No, so my mom is here. You know, she flew in from Canada.
I saw that. I saw
mom. Could say hi.
I saw mom watching Pan, watching Exodus play in the park while taking a jog. I say, wow. So I saw mom. I know mom is there.
She's the first lady of Exodus. So
yeah,
back in the 80s when
and that's our champion to 2026. So I know she was probably over the moon.
There we go. Yeah. So we've actually been traveling. So we were in some of the beach cities in Thailand for the past week.
Okay.
And we were on the beach and on the boats and just touring, and nice. We won up.
I say this man looking toasty. All right. Nice. Well, great to have you, Karen. Hail up moms for us. I could tell she's having a great time.
For sure.
I want to get into 5 digital skills that are in demand globally. We're talking about the 4 corners of the earth, right?
Yes.
You're relevant anywhere you go with this particular skill set. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I mean, let's preface this conversation a little bit. So one of the things is that over the past couple of weeks, I mean, as 2026 started, I've had more and more people reaching out to me every single day, and they are asking about employment, right? They're asking about, employment online. How do they apply for companies abroad? The conversations on employment have really ramped up this year. But one of the biggest things that I've been seeing is that the reason why so many TNT citizens are struggling with getting jobs, online, getting jobs abroad, is not that we don't have the skill sets, we don't have the intellect. No, there's a big skill mismatch, and a lot of the jobs that are being published globally right now, a lot of those jobs that are coming out, we have not upskilled to even apply for those jobs, and we still try to apply for a lot of the low-level customer service jobs, data entry jobs that are on the way out is what we are trying to apply for. And because we're not getting those jobs, we think that there's no jobs available when we're talking a global scale. So the reason for this conversation is we need to start getting more people to start thinking about what are those new jobs, those new skill sets that we are going to need. What is in demand right now so that I can go and learn this, so that's going to make me more employable, because the skill sets of 2026 are very different from 2025 and previous years. So let's start with the skill set number 1. Jason, for the last 2 years we've been talking, when the conversation of artificial intelligence comes up, we have been saying that, AI might not replace or might not take away your job, but you're going to be replaced by people who understand AI and who use AI, right? Well, Jason, in 2026, AI skill sets, AI fluency is now a baseline skill set. You are seeing even more jobs that are asking you to have some sort of experience utilizing tools like Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, OpenAI's ChatGPT. AI fluency is now becoming a baseline skill set. So people that are now applying for these jobs, you're going to start seeing you're going to start seeing companies ask you, do you have these AI skill sets, or are you fluent in AI? Can you actually operate these tools? Because now they're starting to hire people who understand how to use these tools versus the people with the exact same degrees, same skill set, but who are not AI inclined. So the first skill set of 2026 that is in demand globally is you have to now start becoming fluent in any of the AI tools like the ChatGPTs, the Copilots. That is baseline skill set number 1.
Indeed. So AI is a prerequisite. That's unlocked, and that's not going to change. What's another skill set that's very important and that's going to make you employable in 2026 and beyond?
So this is a major one. So we are now in 2026 where we are seeing companies now starting to create AI agents and have these things on the actual company roster. We're talking about AI agents that are now taking up company portfolios inside roles. But guess what? Somebody has to build the AI agents. So skill set number 2 is, folks, you need to start learning things like AI agents and multi-agent system architecture, learning how to actually build the AI agents and how to configure the teams. If you learn that skill set, and these skill sets, everything we talk about can be learned on Coursera or Udemy. Those are some good starting points for everybody. I mean, you could learn from in other sources, but those are starting points, Coursera and Udemy. But if you learn the skill set of AI agents and multi-agent system architecture, building the AI agents to automate the processes for companies, you could start earning from $220,000 US. That is the minimum for somebody who can now build AI agents and employ them for companies, and companies around the world are looking for this as a major skill set, and that's just something that we could learn, get the skill sets, and start working for companies abroad or start getting clients and building those systems out for them.
So that's 2. Let's get down to skill set number 3.
Number 3 is being able to build custom AI applications. So we know we have smartphones, and we know on our smartphones we have applications, right? Now, when you look at programs like ChatGPT, for example, they have something called custom GPTs, which are basically like applications to smartphones. Those custom GPTs inside of ChatGPT almost are like applications. Somebody has to build them. So again, while AI might be automating processes, we still have people building out these solutions. So skill set number 3 is learning how to build the AI applications that you see running through the ChatGPT stores or any of the other AI tools. If you learn how to build the AI solutions inside them, we're talking about you could start earning as from a minimum of $140,000 US per year.
Wow, how much US?
$140,000 USD annually.
Let me ask you, with these skill sets, is it that you could work from home, or you need to be physically in a brick and mortar office to activate what you just mentioned, all the skills you just mentioned?
It's both. So all of these new jobs and skill sets are digital in nature, right? And companies around the world are hiring. Now, keep in mind, companies realize that they might not have the talent pool available to them in their home countries, which is why more and more companies are opening up these roles, because if the role is digital, they can hire somebody in a different part of the world and get that talent and have that person working inside their company. So you are going to see companies that these roles are going to be remote in nature, but then you might also see some hybrid as well. The good thing is with hybrid, a lot of those hybrid roles do come with companies willing to bring you into that country, pay for your visa, and have you relocate to that particular country. But for all of these skills that we're talking about, you can also do that remotely right from Trinidad as well.
You know, we talking AI. Is there any opportunity there for those, let's say, in the cybersecurity arena, those who could understand that world, understand cameras, and being able to monitor what's happening online? Walk me through, because I didn't hear anything about that.
No, absolutely. That's actually the next skill set I was going to talk about. Right now, cybersecurity is, again, it's a major field that is under-resourced in the Caribbean. We do not have enough cybersecurity specialists to successfully secure our digital borders in our countries. So there are so many different facets of cybersecurity. What I would highly recommend to anybody, right? If you want to get into cybersecurity, but you don't exactly know which portfolio under cybersecurity you want to take into, do me a favor. Jump inside of ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Gemini and ask the tool to say, hey, I would like to get into cybersecurity. I am unsure about which aspect of cybersecurity I want to get into. Can you ask me 5 questions to help me narrow down which part of cybersecurity that would be best suited for me? And that's going to ask you questions, interview you, and then it's going to give you exactly what you're looking for and tell you which aspect of cybersecurity you should be going after.
Let me ask you a very important question here. Is there any particular certificate? Is there any particular course? How does an employer know that you are actually certified and you are capable of all these skills that you just mentioned?
Yes, and you know what? I'm so glad that you asked that question, because now in today's day and age, you are seeing companies, and this started a couple of years ago, but you're seeing the biggest companies from IBM, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Tesla. You would have been seeing these companies drop university and also college requirements simply because what companies have started focusing on is they don't necessarily care if you have the degree or not. What they want is proof that you actually can do the actual job. And you could acquire skill sets in so many different ways. So when you are actually applying for a lot of these jobs, they're going to have mock scenarios. They might give you tasks just to see your proficiency in some of these different elements and whatnot. And that is how they're verifying whether or not you are actually skilled enough to do that particular role. So yes, the degrees and stuff, they matter, but more importantly is, do you have the knowledge? And companies are now looking at, can you actually do the job by putting you through mock trials? And that's how they're determining if you're proficient in that skill set or not.
Oh, so basically it's like a test.
Basically like a test. Yeah, you got to show proof of work, and what everybody should be doing, right? Because I do this for myself in marketing. Everybody should start learning how to, one, build a personal brand, and that's learning up how to show up online, showcase your knowledge, showcase your information, but also build a portfolio. Beyond a resume, employers want to see your body of work. So for me, in marketing, for example, most of the employers never ask me for my resume, right? What everybody reaches out to me, and what they say is, we saw you do this, or we visited your website, we looked at your portfolio, we've seen what you've done. What you have done, this is what we want you to bring to our company. This is what we want to happen with us. So everybody should start learning, how can I actually build a portfolio? Because your portfolios have more weight today than resumes ever will moving forward.
Building your brand.
Building your brand and building your portfolio, correct.
Amazing. So basically, the young people, I'm sure, many of the teens, those coming into the 20s, I'm sure they understand this. This particular new direction, the skill sets just mentioned, all these are skill sets you have to really acquire outside of the education system. I wouldn't imagine someone can learn this in traditional school in khaki pants and blue shirt.
Yeah, and again, Jason, you're spot on again, right? One of the biggest challenges and I do not know how we're going to solve this, right? I don't know how we're going to solve this, but the majority of the things that we are learning in schools today in Trinidad and Tobago are outdated, and they're not going to land you the jobs moving forward. That is one of our biggest problems that we need to somehow address. Again, I don't have the answer for that, but I'm telling you that the skill sets that people are requiring on the global scale for jobs are not things that you're going to learn in any of our universities, our colleges, and even in our secondary schools. So the education is there, but we're going to have to get people to start learning how to learn. I'm going to repeat that. We're going to have to start getting our people to learn how to learn in today's day and age, because you're going to go to school, you're going to get all of the basic and all the necessary skill sets, which is great, but now you're going to have to step things up, and you're going to have to start learning how to go and get the information, how to go and get skilled, how to go and build that personal brand, how to go and build that portfolio in your respective space, and what that is going to look like. Because you're not going to get those things. You're not going to get that knowledge and information in our schooling system, whether it's secondary or tertiary. This is going to require you now to start learning how to learn in today's day and age, right? And a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about going into a platform like Google Gemini, and they have a whole feature that is teaching you skill sets. So you can click on that feature. It's called Teach a Skill inside of Google Gemini. And whatever the skill set is you want to learn, you have an AI tool teaching you how to acquire that information. Right? So we have to learn how to learn in today's day and age, because the skill sets and the industries are moving at a pace that we are not accustomed to. However, if we want to start generating new foreign exchange beyond the oil and gas industry, it is going to require our citizenry to upgrade their skill sets to even have a chance at competing for jobs in the global level. And it can be done, because so many of my peers in my circles, nobody works for companies in Trinidad. They live in Trinidad still, but they're working for international organizations, and they're getting paid in euros, they're getting paid in pounds, they're getting paid in Australian dollars, right? So it can be done, and when that person is getting paid in that higher currency, it is easier for them to pay their bills, and that's just more money coming into the country and more money being distributed, because again, they live in Trinidad, they're earning more money by getting paid in a higher currency, and that money is spent right in Trinidad and Tobago. So if we can get an uptick in more people upskilling themselves to get some of the newer jobs, eventually all that can start to raise now the standard of living across the board.
Karen Rose, very important conversation as always. Give thanks. Hail up Mom again for us, and have a great one, my friend. We'll touch base next week.
You too. We'll talk. Take care.
That's right, Karen Rose checking in there from Thailand. We come back with our social media details, but before that, let me just remind that caller from Tobago, you need to, in terms of getting that print, you need to, for the report, Scarborough Police Station, you're going to ask for Assistant Superintendent Alicia Piggott, and she will sort you out and treat with you accordingly. I know there's the ink issue, and based on this particular correspondence, I think they're going to try to sort that out immediately. Thanks a lot for highlighting the issue. We come back, social media details, and I'm seeing we might actually get into our weather update very soon, so stand by. See you soon.
There's a hole in the bucket.
Well, fix it, dear Johnny, just fix it. And while you're doing that, remember the roof is leaking, the house need painting, all those kitchen tiles need changing. So tell me, Johnny, what about the plumbing? The driveway needs paving. Plus, you promised to add a new room to the house. I find it's about time. Johnny, fix it.
There has never been a better time for a TBLA home improvement loan. Call us today at 623-1501 or visit us at tblamortgages.com.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Welcome back. Let's remind you of ways to contact the team, to join me on the couch, or you can join me on the Zoom line. You're sending your email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Very important there. Put yourself in again, nice, short, concise, and we'll see you soon. Our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, X. Yeah, very active within the social media space. All your news, local, regional, and international. Another place to get and to stay on top of the news is via our mobile app. The CNC3 mobile app, your #1 source for verified breaking news, all your favorite content on demand. Get the app today. Now, what about the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian? As always, 108 years of legacy, going strong, And for those who want to enjoy the Guardian on their laptop, their cell phone, their tablet, you could subscribe and visit guardian.co.tt today for your digital Guardian subscription. Let's head across to our food for thought on this Tuesday morning. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Again, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Let's check in with our weather today. Of course, it's expected to be generally hazy and breezy with the chance of the odd partly cloudy spell and the brisk isolated shower. Seas are moderate with waves near 2 meters in open waters and near 1 meter in sheltered areas. The forecast high is 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago. A significant concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere, so sensitive persons are advised to take the necessary precautions. It's going to be dusty today, Sahara dust. Be careful. We get ready, I believe, yes, do we head to our birthday brew? I think we do. That's right, let's make it happen. Happy 17th birthday to Kamoy Monroe, coming from her loving mom, her brother, and the rest of the family. I think Kamoy is like, what, 17 today, Kamoy? Happy birthday, all the best, and enjoy to the max. Also, belated birthday greetings going out to our deputy manager, Samson Nanton, who celebrated his birthday on Sunday, coming from his family, and all of us here at Guardian Media Limited. Is that the Taj Mahal? What, Samson? That's a best picture, Samson. You should frame this one, boy. That's a beautiful pic. And you know, Taj Mahal being one of those iconic global structures. Also, belated birthday greetings going out to football legend Shaka Hislop, who celebrated his birthday on Sunday, coming from his family and his colleagues and fans. And of course, he is also the host of ESPN FC. I was so happy when I see Shaka there sitting on the chair talking to the international audience. What a living legend. Good morning, Shaka. Happy belated birthday to you. If you want to celebrate someone here, send a picture and details to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. We're going to come back with a very important discussion up next, where we're going to balance the nutrition and nutrition. Well, we're going to balance nutrition and fasting, actually. Nutrition, fasting, you know, lots of folks are going to be fasting right now. It's Lent. It's also for our Muslim brothers and sisters that Eid lead up. So for the Christians on the Lent side, for the Muslims, lots going on. But there must be that balance. So let's get some details from the president of the Health and Nutrition Association of TNT. She's up next.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hi, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
PRWC, protect your loved ones with a Western Global Security Combo, only $3,000. PS5 console game, $5,400. Unwind with an 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. HP 14-inch laptop for $1,900. Amazon 8-inch Fire tablet, $760. HP print scan copy printer, $625. We have speakers, mouse, printers, and lots more. 3 months layaway also.
Fires are unpredictable and can escalate rapidly.
Making the wrong decision can cost you all
all your possessions and even your life.
In the event of a fire, you can either fight or flight.
Small fires should be extinguished using an extinguisher by trained personnel only.
However, if a fire reaches the ceiling, do not attempt to fight the fire. You should evacuate immediately using the following steps.
Raise an alarm.
Call the fire service at 990.
Evacuate. Move briskly. Do not run, as this can create panic.
Never go in search of possessions.
Assemble at the muster point. Conduct a roll call to ensure everyone is accounted for.
Give the results of the roll call and other relevant information to the fire service personnel on arrival.
Remember, fire safety begins with you.
Nandani Samuel joins me, President of the Health and Nutrition Association of TNT. Great to see you, and very important and timely discussion. Lots of folks, good morning to you, Nandani. Lots of folks fasting, as I mentioned, the Muslim community, the Christians, well, for the Christians, Lent, for the Muslims, Eid is around the corner. So lots, especially for our Muslim brothers and sisters who really go very deep with the fast. Walk me through that balance between fasting and still being able to stay on top of your nutrition?
Well, of course, Jason, you know, fasting has a lot of benefits when it comes to self-control, mental clarity, all of that. But when we speak about it from a physiological standpoint, it actually helps to decrease inflammation, helps with improved insulin sensitivity and all of that. So fasting is actually very good, but when done correctly, and also during that fasting window, outside of that is what you do. That would be dependent on how well you're able to manage your fast. So for instance, let me just dive straight into Ramadan. A lot of persons do fast for Ramadan. So we have the suhoor time, which is pre-dawn meals. Then we have iftar, which is after they break their fast. And then we have the tarawih prayers, which they do usually after, right? So with suhoor, a lot of persons, what I realized from my patients, who a lot of them are Muslims, I realized that they don't balance the meals properly. And when it comes to sustaining your energy throughout the day, you want to remember to include some sort of protein and fiber, because including this would make you feel fuller for a longer period, and it would also help with the sugar dropping low, right? So for instance, instead of just having, like, let's just say bread and tea in the morning, maybe you have some bread with eggs, like some whole wheat bread with eggs and veggies. Try to have enough water, like 1 to 2 cups of water. Then you also want to have things like coconut water to stay hydrated. And then at iftar, what I realize is a lot of persons go on the big meals where as soon as they break fast, they sit down with a plate of food. And this is where, as dietitians, what I usually tell them, you know, you want to do some sort of, you break your fast small, maybe 1 or 2 dates, then you water, some soup, and then you go into a big meal. Because what I've realized is that the carb spike, because it's so high, your insulin is obviously going to spike, your blood sugar is going to spike, then there's going to come an energy crash. So later that night, you may be feeling like having digestion issues or acid reflux. You may or may not be able to sleep properly. So by you breaking your fast slower would be better. And I mean, after tarawih prayers, some persons choose to do it at home or at the mosque. And if you're usually still hungry, I would say to include something as small like Greek yogurt with nuts or some fruits at that time rather than having another big meal.
Is there ever a moment that you recommend not to fast based on someone's, there might be some dietary challenges or a particular issue?
I would say chronic conditions, so things like diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease. I would always tell patients, you know, you need to speak to your doctor before, because if you don't, let's just say we have patients on insulin and medication, they may or may not be able to fast. So I have had patients who were able to fast and they are diabetic, but they prepared themselves weeks in advance where they were able to manage their blood sugars. Let's just say on mornings your blood sugar 300-400, then you wouldn't want to fast. You should consult a medical professional first.
That's right. So you're saying that it takes a lot of prep, meal prep.
A lot of meal prep, a lot of planning in order to, you know, yes, fasting is very beneficial. It's sacred. At this point in time, it's for your religion. But at the same point in time, planning and meal prep is what I would tell patients you need to, you know, be mindful of.
I know on the Christian side, for those who fast for Lent, there are many who sometimes stay away from the meat on a Friday. Wednesday, people have the particular days. What's your advice in that regard?
So in terms of the Lenten period, I would say persons do the intermittent fasting. Some persons do vegan or vegetarian, and then some persons stay away from meat in total, right?
Yeah, for the whole 40 days.
Right, for the whole 40 days, right? And then some only eat fish alone. So my thing is, during that period, as you know, I mean, be real here, fish prices are high now, and they may not be able to afford it every single day. There's where other sources of protein could come in, like your peas and beans, tofu. So I would say to get creative with the meals. Instead of, I see these fast food companies having a lot of fried fish and pizzas and all of those things, which is good. But at the same point in time, it's not to overdo these meals. Have it in small amounts. So for the Lenten period, I would say prioritize your proteins, which would be your peas and beans, not always fish. Get creative, maybe do some lentil tacos or soups or whatever the case is. And of course, you want to balance your meals, because those who are going vegan or vegetarian, a lot of research is showing that there is a B12 and iron deficiency after fasting. If it is you, so you could actually end up with a nutrient deficiency if it is you don't balance your meals during that period of time. So things like spinach, prioritizing vitamin C, like oranges and stuff, in order to increase the iron absorption, because there's two types of iron. There's the heme iron, where you really get from meats and poultry, and there's the non-heme. The non-heme iron is really lower in absorption. It's less bioavailable. So in that way, you want to try to balance the meals properly. Have it. Yes, if you're even doing intermittent fasting, it all comes to having a sufficient source of fiber from your carbs, protein, lean sources of protein, and your vegetables.
It seems that, you know, with the fasting process, even though some people do it based on muscle memory and tradition and what they would have seen parents or family do, you're saying basically there must be a game plan, meal prep. You need to really strategize. You need to strategize, because what I've seen is people, you know, if you're not planning and you go outside there and for lunch you're hungry, you go to buy a salad. I'm not calling any names, but you buy a salad with just fried fish, and most times salads are lettuce. 1 cup of lettuce is like 0.5 grams of fiber. So you are not getting sufficient nutrients to sustain you, because a typical male or female may need like 25 to 30 grams of fiber. If you're not getting sufficient fiber, you're going to feel hungrier faster. So you may tend to splurge or eat more food because you're now feeling hungrier. So I would say you need to plan, you need to meal prep. You also need to include the family. I mean, if you have children and all of that, include the family in the planning as well. How many people, based on your experience over the years, would have continued with their fast, continued with their diet change after, let's say, a religious cycle, coming out of, let's say, you know, after the Eid, after the Easter? Do you see people still saying, you know what, I've made it so far, I could probably continue? To be honest, I haven't seen much people do it, and the reason being is that they use this period, some persons also, for weight loss, but I want you all to remember that it's not always healthy weight loss. Not always. You would be losing body fat. You would also be losing muscle mass if you're not prioritizing things like protein, right? So after this period, a lot of persons tend to fall off the bandwagon, and then they fast again, or maybe they go on a restrictive diet later on in the year. I've also heard that when someone stays away from something for a long time, they try to overcompensate. So they tend to go, you know, you stay away from the meat. But then you do a deep dive. Instead of eat steak, you're just going deep. Now, have you also experienced that? I've seen that where patients, I mean, so I do meal plans and stuff for persons who during Ramadan, Lent and whatever, and after the period, of course, they feel that, you know, it's time to now splurge because I haven't had it for the past month. And there's where they go and they overeat and overcompensate and then end up back with the same problem as they had before. Wow. How can folks keep in touch with you to just, you know, advance the conversation when it comes to the meal prep, the balancing, nutrition, and fasting? Well, actually, we just posted on our website, www.healthandnutritiontt.org. The articles are there for you to read even more, and then we have our social media pages, Health and Nutrition TT, on Instagram and Facebook.
So you could reach out to us definitely, even if you have more questions after the session.
The importance of water during all of this?
Hydration. So hydration is key. So as I mentioned, even for the Ramadan period or Lent, you want to make sure to keep hydrated throughout the period. So even in the morning time for Ramadan, I would say at least 2 to 3 glasses of water, and then when you break fast, you have water. For Lenten period, you try to maybe get one of those measuring bottles or cups with the 2 to 3 liter and try to sip throughout the day to remain hydrated.
And we have some information we're going to put on screen. If you could just elaborate what we're about to see here. This is part of your meal prep.
Basically, so this is the information presented by the Health and Nutrition Association that I would have done. So you could find it on our social media pages and Instagram. So it's basically showing you some easy ideas you could have for suhoor, iftar, after Tarawih prayers, and then for Lenten season, there's another one where I have some easy ideas as well. So I'm helping you, I'm guiding you to make those decisions.
I would imagine those with digestive issues, acid reflux, that kind of scenario, they also too need to be very careful and mindful when they break fast, how they break the fast.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. As soon as you break fast, do not go into a large meal. Go smaller because of the sugar spike that's going to happen, the energy crash that's going to happen, acid reflux, and the digestive issues. You want to use something as small as the dates with the water and then soup, and then you could go into your meals.
If you sort of feel, let's say, extreme pain while on fast, you're getting that stitch, that pain, piercing.
Yeah.
Do you advise that someone should break the fast and probably get something in the system?
In terms of breaking the fast, I would say always consult with the doctor. Once you know you cannot do it anymore, speak to your doctor and they would be able to better advise what you should do at that point. Because if you are in pain, obviously you wouldn't want to continue. Because it could pose more threat to your health than before.
That's right. Any closing words as we wrap things up now?
I mean, all I would like to say to the community that is fasting, I wish you all luck in fasting. It's a spiritual and sacred time, but at the same point in time, remember to plan, remember to prioritize what's important, and balance your meals.
Nandani Samuel touching base with us, President of the Health and Nutrition Association of Trinidad and Tobago. A very important discussion, knowing that so many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, as a matter of fact, are into their full fast for this most sacred time for the Christian community and the Muslim community. With that, we're going to take, or at least make our exit this morning. Definitely, it's been a tremendous program, certainly. God spare, I'm back for more tomorrow. So thank you as always for spending the morning, allowing me and the team to spend the morning with you, a matter of fact. And yeah, be safe. Have a great one, TNT. See you tomorrow.
Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.